Hello everyone, my name is the Kamike, or as I am on ESO, Marquee Captain. Today I'll be showing you a 2600 French boom. Already at my channel, I have a French mirror uploaded from about 2 months ago. It was versus Azir, who was ranked a colonel. In that video, I scored 2400, and back then I could get about 2400 to 2450, but since then, I've learned a new build order, and I can now get 2600 or maybe a little bit more, depending on treasures I might find. But in terms of experience, I'm not that experienced with French. I don't get to play them that often because in most games they're not allowed because they're considered overpowered, and rightfully so. They really are overpowered because of their insane economy, superb military, excellent artillery with just one card, best cavalry in the game, and best skirmishers in the game too. Maybe besides Cassadors, but that's about it. I'm not going to be live commentating this, except for this one part. I'm going to record the boom before, and then I'm going to post-commentate it. This will allow me to better master my commentary, better commentate what is going on in the game, and it is hard to play and speak at the same time. I have a few test games, and those didn't turn out that well. So that's it, and I'll see you in game. And we're back, and first action is to split up the couriers on the food crates so that you can get your first courier out as soon as possible. Then I garrison 2 villagers and send them to start herding. I only need 2 villagers on the wood crates. And to maintain settler population with French, you need 4 couriers on food. Then I task my woodcutting settler to build a house and a market, because I got 2 wood crates, which is good as French. Notice I haven't I haven't used my explorer or my native scout yet. It's more important to micro settlers in the first couple seconds of the game. Luckily there's a 40 coin treasure near my town, so I only have to gather 10 coin with my courier to get hunting dogs, which just speeds up the process of getting market upgrades. And more herding. Always keep the first herd close to your TC, as close as possible. Although, the only bane of this would be sometimes your settlers get stuck on the herd, which is annoying. But that's okay. First card is going to be Colbertism. This is really the only optional card in this deck. I like to have it because it makes a 5 herd civ. Only need 4 herds, which is especially good on like 3v3 Andes, where each player only gets 1 or 2 herds, maybe 3 if you're lucky. Next card will be Eco Theory, then Exotic Cardwoods. If you choose not to use Colbertism, first card will be Eco Theory, then Exotic Cardwoods, then Northwest Passage. Or alternatively, you can skip Northwest Passage if you're not using Colbertism, and send it after factories, which will let you get refrigeration in both factories in on time. Otherwise they'll be late by a couple seconds. Right here, I'm just microing my explorer more. Not really microing, just sending him to explore more of the map, scout out more of my herds, my mines, where I'm going to build my next, my second and third TC. Deleting llamas. That would improve my boom a little too much. Find some more llamas, kill those off. Right here I'm splitting my couriers up evenly on my herds, which makes them, it's hard to explain, but it does make them gather more efficiently, i.e. they won't when they go to the next herd, they won't bump into each other. It's just cleaner to do. Credit to Mike Daisu, learned it from watching his videos.
Très bien. Votre... Oui, correct. Chasseur. Bonjour, chasseur. Je le ferai. Chasseur. Oui. Prêt. Prêt. Votre ordre?
If I haven't mentioned it already, we're going with an 18 settler age up. You can go with a 15 settler age up or sometimes 16 if you want, but I prefer 18.
Prêt, correct. Je le ferai, chasseur. Votre ordre? Correct.
I like to start herding in age 1 because you have plenty of time. If you're aging up with 18 villagers, then you're really not going to have any trouble aging up to 3 with enough resources. And you'll have enough wood to build town centers on time as soon as you hit age 3. With 15 or 16 villager age up, you might not be able to do that. So that's another reason why I like 18 settler age up. Age up with 400 wood, standard with most civs. Ah, gonna crack my knuckles. Or only 2 of them, whatever. 3. And I'm sending my explorer to the position where I want to build my next TC. Usually you want to build your second and third TCs next to a cluster of trees, another herd, and a mine or 2. It's not good to build your TC close to your first one usually. With some civilizations like Dutch, I like to build my third TC right next to my first TC, just because you don't need that many herds with that civ. You don't need to be that forward, you only need 2 mines. But really that's it. Most civs, you should build your town center forward. At least that's my opinion. Some people disagree. If you do choose to build your TCs close to your first TC, don't build them right next to each other. This will block your settlers' pathing, which makes them walk around the town center if you're not doing a garrison trick. And the more time your settlers are walking and not gathering, the worse your boom is going to be. Especially early on, it matters a lot. Gather enough coin to get age 2 market ups. So 125 wood for, what's it called, steel traps, and 250 gold for flume logging. Oh, I forgot the names of them, almost. More herding. My herds are pretty close to my town, which is good for me. See, I kind of fail with herding right there. Shoot one that I didn't have to. And Napoleon's talking to me. He doesn't need to, but it's all good. And get steel traps immediately, because you're going to have plenty of wood to build your next town center.
Je le ferai. Très bien. Oui, correct.
If you're in the range of a trade post, gather 200 more wood than you normally would. You need 600 wood for one TC, 600 for another, and then 200 extra for amalgamation.
Oui. Chasseur. Bûcheron. Bûcheron. Correct. Très bien. Chasseur. Très bien. Oui.
Next card will be refrigeration. Sending exotic hardwoods this time in the boom means, as your third card, it means you won't get refrigeration on time. This is negligible in my opinion, because at this moment you're gathering mostly on wood, so it doesn't matter. Although if you'd like, you can send exotic hardwoods after factories, and then send Northwest Passage after exotic hardwoods. I've never tried that really. I send exotic hardwoods third with Spain too, instead of after factories. But that's just my personal little mantra.
Oui. Votre ordre? Bonjour. Correct. Oui. Je le ferai.
And now I start taking settlers off of wood because I no longer need it.
Oui. Très bien.
Although I do send a little too many to food and not enough to coin, which was pretty bad. It's gonna mess up my distribution a lot later in the game. Although I do get a pretty good age time. Spoilers.
Prêt. Bonjour. Je le ferai. Oui. Prêt. Oui. Correct. Je le ferai.
Now I'm getting refrigeration a little bit late. That is again if you send exotic hardwoods third as your third card. And looking at my distribution, you can definitely see that I have way too much food compared to gold. That's gonna slow down my industrial time by a little bit. I probably could have aged faster if I hadn't done that, but it's all good. You can't always have perfect distribution.
Oui. Oui. Prêt. Prêt. Très bien. Correct. Votre ordre? Chasseur. Ramasseur. Oui. Chasseur. Chasseur. Très correct. Oui. Oui. Correct. Oui. Chasseur. Chasseur. Bonjour. Oui.
I never talked about my control groups. I like to have, for treaty at least, I like to have my town centers on control group 1, explorer on control group 2, and native scout or envoy or what have you on control group 3. For supremacy, I like to have my town centers on control group 5 and my main military building on control group 1. And then my main army unit on control group 2. But we're not talking about that. And as you can see, my distribution has evened out a little bit, but the way my settlers are oriented around the map isn't that good, and it's going to mess up my distribution for my Imperial time.
Bonjour. Oui. Chasseur. 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 Votre ordre? Correct.
Never have a rotting guanaco or any herdable dead on the floor without anybody gathering it. That's just wasting food. because the animals decay. It's not good to have just one settler on each herdable either, because it just means they're rotting faster than you're gathering. But you never want to have more than 6 villagers on a herd either. And it's good to divide your villagers up evenly on the herds too, which is what I do. And this might be sounding redundant. Save your next shipments for factories, and then after factories you'll sound Northwest Passage.
Enjoy your brief edge over me while you can.
I like to send robber barons first because I'm a hipster. Oh, and when you hit about 41, 42 courier population, send 2 couriers to start gathering wood so you can get another house. I like to build my houses in front of my town center so they're not all in my economy. And I don't like to build them apart so I can conserve space for my mills and plantations and etc. Factory goes at the back, keep it safe. I have a nice tree wall to protect them if I ever get raided. As soon as the factory is built, send it to... not send it, put it to wood. I mean food, sorry. Put it to food. It's gonna stay like that up until the very moments that fur trade comes. Again, dividing up my villagers evenly on my herds. Also try to keep your mines evenly distributed. Right here, I'm not doing a great job of that. But it's okay. And starting to age up at about 1525. Pretty good age time. Good age time with French is about 1645 to 1715. Maybe a little bit slower if you only have 1 or 2 herds, like on 3v3 handies. But 17 minutes is a good age time for most civilizations. I mean, barring like ports or India who can age up at 15 minutes. Most civs do age up at around 17 minutes, like Spain, Britain, Ottoman. As soon as you start aging to Imperial, get a circular saw at the market and get the food upgrade, the food gathering upgrade at the factory. Make sure you have enough food to buy the wood cutting upgrade from the capital as soon as you are done aging to Imperial. Got stuttered with my words, sorry.
Maçon, va très bien. Je le ferai. Correct. Bonjour. Prêt. Oui. Bonjour. Correct. Prêt. Maçon. Maçon. Oui. Maçon. Bûcheron.
Send a couple villagers to gather the wood crates. You usually won't need it right away, but it's the earlier you can get mercantilism, the faster you can go on mills. But you should have enough wood to get, enough coin to get the wood upgrade at the capital right away. Mixing up my words again. This is my first time commentating.
Bûcheron, bûcheron. Bonjour. Très bien.
Don't buy any upgrades that require food from the market, the capital, the arsenal, or the church. You want to save those so you can maximize your fur trade.
Maçon. Maçon.
Start building mills and you'll upgrade them once one is built. But in the meantime, all of your couriers are going to war.
Bûcheron. Oui, très bien. Bûcheron. Votre ordre? Bûcheron. Ouais, bûcheron.
If you have wood in your base where your mills are going to go cut that immediately. Usually you'll have forward settlers cutting wood at the front of your base, but you need to pull those back and immediately start cutting the wood in your base where your mills are going to go.
Bonjour. Votre ordre? Oui. Prêt. Maçon.
You
Maçon.
don't want your villagers to be getting caught on trees. That just slows their gathering.
Maçon.
Which is also like the entire point of sending Northwest Passage.
Oui.
So your villagers can get to new places on the mills faster, which in turn makes them gather faster.
Bonjour. Maçon. Maçon. Votre ordre?
Build 10, you're going to put 7 villagers on each mill.
Maçon. 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 Maçon.
Also
maçon,
start building all your houses, your arsenal,
Maçon.
your forward stables, racks, stables. Ooh, that was redundant. Your stables, barracks, and artillery foundries.
Prêt.
So
Maçon.
you can send
Maçon.
the
Maçon. Bûcheron.
advanced church upgrade without wasting any wood.
Oui, très bien. Je le ferai. Bûcheron. Oui. Votre ordre? Bûcheron. Oui. Correct. Oui. Bûcheron. Oui. Bonjour. Fermier.
Once you've sent both mill cards, you can start sending villagers from wood to plantations.
Oui. Bonjour. Prêt. Bonjour. Très bien. Fermier.
You don't need to wait for the church card,
Prêt.
because that'll be sent a little later.
Maçon. Bonjour.
Usually you'll upgrade the advanced church at about 22 minutes,
Maçon. Fermier.
maybe 21:30 if you're pretty fast on building.
Votre ordre? Oui. Oui. Je le ferai. Fermier. Bonjour. Correct. Fermier.
In this deck I don't have 2 plantation cards.
Fermier.
The idea behind this being
Bonjour.
you can get more military cards
Bonjour. Fermier.
and finish the game quickly before you need to go on to plantations.
Fermier.
Because you gather so much faster on mills than you do plantations.
Fermier.
Alternatively, if you have like a Germany teammate, you can just trade.
Fermier. Votre oui. Oui.
You gather faster on mills, he gathers faster on plantations. But that's very late game stuff. If you're not like able to finish the game within the first 30-25 minutes. Which, I mean, usually games don't last that long.
Prêt.
Final distribution will be 70 couriers on food and 10 gathering wood.
Maçon. 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 Maçon.
If you have any leftover coin, you can get some arsenal upgrades or maybe upgrade
Maçon.
anything, I guess.
Maçon.
Here I'll get
Maçon.
an outpost upgrade, because those upgrade slowly after treaty.
Maçon.
I mean, not after treaty.
Votre ordre.
They just they upgrade slow
Maçon,
in general.
Maçon, maçon. Maçon, maçon, fermier. Prêt. Maçon, maçon, fermier. Oui, fermier.
And here I start sending the advanced church card. Not church card, but church upgrade. Start building my walls. In 1v1 Andes, I really never make more than 1 or 2 walls. That's because I just don't play it rated anymore. It's just so prone to running. And I just don't play with runners. It's just not fun in my opinion. Or really skillful or honorable or whatever. But here I'll make 2 wall layers. If you're gonna do elite pillars, this is my way of doing it. I think there's another way, where you use a button to select all of the pillars, but I don't have that set on my hotkey as one of my hotkeys.
Votre ordre. Je le ferai.
Although I could easily change it, just too lazy.
Correct.
And I already know this way, so whatever. Next card will be Thoroughbreds.
Bûcheron.
Alternatively, you could send Advanced Arsenal,
Bûcheron.
but
Bonjour.
really just preference there.
Bûcheron.
I like to send a couple settlers to gather in the middle of between the trade posts, so that once treaty ends, I can start walling there.
Fermier. Oui.
Just gonna get rearranged on my chair.
Bonjour, fermier. Prêt. Maçon. Correct. Maçon.
And really, for like the next 10 minutes, there's really nothing to do but stare at your mills.
Votre ordre.
Build a bit of an eco wall, I suppose.
Bonjour. Maçon. Maçon. Fermier.
Ideally, by the time you start sending fur trade, you should have 1900 score.
Prêt. Maçon. 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 Maçon.
Right there, I just delete an unnecessary pillar. It's only 8 wood, but hey, 8 wood more to your boom. There I start upgrading my outpost because I have leftover coin. Again, don't get any upgrades that require food. You don't need those until after fur trade has been sent.
Maçon, bûcheron. Prêt. Votre ordre, bûcheron. Prêt. Fermier. Votre ordre? Oui. Maçon.
Excuse me. I have a bit of a cough. The voice is a bit raspy too. I like to put my buildings in front of my wall, my military buildings in front of my walls, so that if your forward base isn't done and your military just got wrecked, you can start trading them new units immediately, and they don't have to walk as far to get to the battlefield. And really for the next, what, 7 or 8 minutes, you have nothing to do. I guess you can spend time strategizing with your teammates or whatnot. Maybe go make a sandwich in your fridge. I don't know, something else.
Prêt. Votre ordre, oui. Prêt.
Not much to say here, really. But, I guess I'll go over military strategy with French. The worst thing you can do is make too many gendarmes. Because if you have more than 20 out at a time, their padding is just going to get screwed with. And they're not that hard to counter, despite how strong they are. Your main unit is skirmishers. You want to have about 40 to 50 out at a time, and you want to be making a lot of artillery. The French are almost as artillery heavy as Dutch. It means you want to have 6-8 Kulvs in your start army, a couple horse arts and mortars, and you always want to have at least one Culverin out at a time so you can pressure your opponent's artillery. Your anti-cavalry unit is gendarmes. You don't really need to make dragoons, unless it's a French mirror, I guess. But even then, they're not that good. Same with muskets. I don't even upgrade them anymore. I used to, but really they just don't work in your composition. The only time they might be worth working into your composition would be like maybe 20 minutes after the fight has started and your eco is out and you just need cheap units. But just push heavy, push hard with gendarme, skirms, and mortars. And gnats, if you're using gnats.
Oui, votre ordre?
If you get a trade post, you can usually get 2 more shipments, which is really beneficial. With a trade post, I would get riding school and advanced arsenal before the boom. I mean, before treaty ends. Sorry.
Prêt. Votre ordre? Bonjour. prêt, votre ordre, prêt, oui, prêt, oui, prêt, oui, votre ordre, prêt, oui, votre ordre.
Again, there's just so little to do. After like 27 minutes, you're just set, really. I think French produce about 100 points, 100 score worth of economy in about a minute. So looking at my score right now, there's 3 minutes and 20 seconds until I start sending my fur trade, and I only need about 280 points of score. Points of score, that's redundant. Points of score to reach my goal of 1900 before you start sending fur trade. I send my fur trade at 36 minutes 20 seconds. Some people do it earlier, some people later. I really wouldn't go any later than that. Like sending it at 37 minutes, that's just way too late. Your army is not going to be at the battlefield by the time they're trained out.
Bonjour.
You want to give yourself some time to set up your military.
Prêt.
Although you also want to maximize your trade. So it's
Oui.
just find what works for you. For me, that's sending it at 36 minutes 20 seconds.
Bonjour, fermier.
I do the same with India and Iroquois if I played Iroquois. But I don't. I'm not that good at cowing.
Prêt. Maçon. Maçon, fermier. Oui. Fermier.
I've seen some cool walls before. You can make like compartments with your walls. It makes it a little bit harder to siege. And put like a couple barracks and stables in each little compartment. And with about 45 seconds left until I start my trade, I'm at 1842. So I should get 1900 by the time I start sending for a trade.
Prêt. Oui. Votre ordre, prêt. Oui. Votre ordre, prêt. Oui. Prêt. Oui. Prêt. Oui. Votre oui. Votre oui. Prêt. Votre oui. Votre prêt. Votre ordre. Prêt. Oui. Votre ordre. Oui.
And 3620, start sending fur trade. Your next cards will be Riding School, then Fast Infantry, then Cheap Natives, and then Advanced Arsenal. Or if you got a trading post, then really, whatever's left. And then after that, anything you want. But those are the essential military cards that you need early in the fight. Once fur trade has arrived, your first action should be to switch your factories to wood and get the wood upgrade too. Then get your upgrades that cost wood and coin, not your food, because you don't have enough food yet. Go to church, capital, market, arsenal. I use Control C, Control M, Control Z, and Control R for all of those respectively as a quick find hotkey. Upgrade all your units. And then once they're all upgraded, start training. Or queuing up to train your military. The faster you can get them out, the more time you have to set up your army at half map. My start army for this game is 40 skirmishers, 6 cloves, 3 horse art, 2 mortars, and 10 gendarmes. Pretty much a standard start army for real. You always want to have at least 40 skirmishers in your start army as French. None of this 40 gendarme crap. I also have my unit stances set to hotkeys, so stagger is S, cover mode is C, defend mode is D, stand ground is G, etc. And before treaty ends, I control group my Culverins. 2 to each control group. And right here I was having trouble finding my 6 Culverin. And training your military gets you an extra card. And there it is. I have 10,000 food, 12,000 wood, and 130,000 gold, which is pretty good distribution for French. 2,600 boom. And right now I'm just going to look at my game stats in the after game thing. I don't know what it's called. But that's it, and thanks for watching.